Yes, people, welcome back to the 1894. I'm Dara. I've got Joe with me here today for the preview of the Arsenal game. Let's get right into it. Right, so week after we go up against one relegation for the team, we're going up against another. It's Arsenal, the bottom of the table, 0 points. We don't have a striker going into it yet, but we do have a lot of midfielders. Joe, what do you make of it?
God, I mean, relegation fodder. I mean, it looks like it at the moment. 0 goals scored, 4 conceded. They look an absolute mess. They may have beaten West Brom under 23 6-0 in midweek in the cup, but I mean, again, it's West Brom under 23s. They're playing the likes of Aubameyang, so we should be looking to maybe not sweep them aside, because if they go defensive, then there's a chance that they can break on the counter, because again, Aubameyang is still pretty fast. And he is coming off the back of a good game, regardless of opposition. So I do fully expect us to just go and win, though. If I'm completely honest, it's Arsenal, we're at home. You know, the only thing that kind of concerns me a little bit is kickoff time. I hate the early kickoff, not only because I just hate having to get up to watch it, because I'm very lazy, but previous early kickoffs, like the ones last season, we always struggled in the early kickoffs last season. I remember strictly we won at home against West Ham last season 2-1, where I think it was both our centre-backs scored. So we usually tend to struggle at early kickoffs, so I'm not looking forward to it. But again, it is only Arsenal. I can't believe we're saying that about Arsenal. It's only Arsenal, but I mean, it is at the moment.
Yeah, no, Arsenal have been absolutely woeful this season. They lost their first two. Chelsea, they looked like nothing. Pablo Mari got put around like a rag doll. But this game, I don't think it's going to be very difficult for say. I think they should push them aside, go out, beat them 2-3-0. But you know, the only thing that's looming over the head for now is the lack of a striker, lack of people to put those chances in the net. But you know, I think you'll see in the predicted 11 we'll have Sterling in. We're hoping he can get a bit of form up. But Joe, who's our main danger man coming into this now?
I think you have to look at, off the back of a very good game against Norwich, I think Gabriel Jesus is possibly the one to look out for at the moment, especially if he is playing on the wing, which I think there's no reason for him not to. He's put himself right in the shop window to start games like this now, of how good he played. Especially because of how slow Mahrez did start the season. Mahrez had a good pre-season, but Mahrez was okay against Leicester. He was fairly quiet against Spurs. Probably should have scored against Spurs, but Jesus came in and he had a good game. So I think you're looking at that and going, Jesus could do a job. Grealish has scored his first goal. You never know what that could do. He could be off the mark. He could get another. You said Sterling before. Again, he scored. He looked well against Tottenham as well. So, he looks to be picking up and, carrying on that form from the Euros. Obviously, Torres is our only striker at the moment. He's not even a real striker. So it's going to come from a winger or a midfielder, really.
Yeah, I think I was more so looking at Grealish start false nine, but we kind of agreed that with Arsenal's like horribly put together defence, in fact, they're playing a paper mache, we probably will play the striker. And you know what? I really do back Torres to go out and score 1 or 2, especially regardless of what he does in the rest of the game. I think he'll just prey on those centre halves because they are absolutely woeful. But you mentioned Aubameyang coming off a good game. Do you really think he poses any threat?
If Arsenal play the right way, yes, I think if they play with a lot of pace on the break, they can, because that's our only weakness. We see it whenever we play United. It's always our one Achilles heel, just a team that hits fast on the counter, because we always like to have loads of the ball. It's just whether is Mikel Arteta too stubborn in his ways as a football coach at the moment to go with that. That's what's hurting him at the moment. Arteta, he's too reluctant to change what isn't working to something that might work better for the players that he's got. So I think a front three of Aubameyang in there and Saka, that could be, Saka is their danger player. Let's not get it twisted. He is their best player at the moment, regardless of age. He just is. And he's another quick player. He could potentially hurt us, but again, you're looking at it and going, our defence is really good. They struggle to create chances. I know they just brought in Ødegaard. I just think it's the creative side they lack. It's all well and good having pace, but if you've got no one to be a link man between the defence and the attack to initiate that counter-attack, then you go nowhere.
Yeah, that's what they're missing. They're missing the type of Fernandinho kind of player, even a Jorginho who can just progress it like that. But, that kind of style of play, we've seen Arteta adopt it before. He played against us in the FA Cup where they they killed us for 90 minutes. I thought we were dreadful that game, but I think we'd have learned by then, and we have much better defenders at this stage. But, you know, talking about the defence, we'll see how we line up against them now.
Right, Revel, team selection. I think that, you know, going into this game off the form that we did go off of Norwich, I think, why change it? Why change it too much at least anyway? So I think with our back four, for Edison in goal, I think that's fairly standard. It kind of speaks for itself, really. And across the four, we've gone for Walker, Diaz, Laporte and Zinchenko. Obviously, Zinchenko coming in for Cancelo. I just think personally that width would be very good to have in this game, because you saw how Chelsea were really, really wide with their wing backs, pushing on high and creating all sorts of problems for Arsenal's back four. So I just think having a natural left foot on the left side just would probably work a little bit better. And, you know, we know Laporte's going to play because Pep said it. So, Dara, what are your thoughts on the defence?
Yeah, no, you're probably right. I mean, Cancelo can come in. He probably won't, though, because we'll have, if you'll see, we have Sterling, who'll probably invert as well. Zinchenko's the only other left back. He'll be the one playing. He'll be the one wide. He'll be going out wide, creating chances. He took into midfield now and again as well when needs be. So I don't see anything wrong with it, really. Maybe Cancelo in for Walker, but Cancelo's played, I'm pretty sure he started every game, including the preseason, so he probably will get a rest for this game. But anyway, getting into the midfield, we have Fernandinho in. I don't see why not. He's 36 and he's still absolutely unbelievable. He'll run that game because Arsenal's midfield is non-existent. Then the two boys in front of us, we've gone with Kaufman, Jack Grealish and Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan, I think me and Joe have the same opinion. He's not been great. He's gone back to what he was, and you know, I think this game could be a little key in unlocking him, maybe waking him up a bit. But I could be wrong. Joe, what you making midfield?
In terms of Fernandinho and Rodri, that situation, and obviously Rodri did play against Norwich. I think everyone played well against Norwich, but yeah, I just think we alluded to it in the first part. I think you alluded to it where, you know, the link man between the defence and the attack, a Fernandinho type player. I just think he's more suited to a game like this where, okay, Arsenal are pretty poor at the moment, but with that threat of the counter-attack, I would rather have a Fernandinho in there personally myself, because I just think he's better. At the moment, he's better at dealing with it because he's got that experience and we know he can do it because he does it all the time. And then obviously Grealish is going to start. He's, you know, the marquee signing at the moment in this window and probably will continue to be because of the price tag. So he just automatically gets in there. And there's no De Bruyne. Unfortunately, that's been confirmed by Roberto Martinez that he's not going to play, unfortunately. So doesn't leave us with too much option unless you go with a Bernardo, who I just think Pep will go with a Gundogan. You know, the nice, cool, calm, collected head in there in the midfield, just, you know, keeping things ticking. You know, he hasn't quite hit the heights that he did hit last season at this current moment. Still very early in the season, he still could do. But, you know, I just think I'd prefer him to Bernardo at this moment in time, especially if he's going to leave. But you never know, he could stay. So we'll wait and see how that one pans out. And then in terms of the front three, just one change. I think we will see Torres up front again. I just think there's no one else is there. I would love to see Liam Delap up there. I really would, because I just want to see how he'd play, because I think he'd tear it up. But I just don't think Pep will, especially against a team like Arsenal. I think he'll respect Arsenal and he will go slightly stronger with what he knows. And Torres, he's been fairly quiet, but I mean, he's been playing as a lone striker. He hasn't, you know, had too much to do. And when he has had something to do, he stuck it in the back of the net against Norwich. It was disallowed, but you know, you can rely on him when he gets that one chance to finish it. And then obviously we were talking about Jesus and Sterling before. Jesus had a really good game against Norwich, a couple of assists in there. I don't see why he should be dropped, especially with a sort of below par couple of games from Mahrez at the start of the season. And I think Sterling, with how well he looked against Spurs and scoring that goal against Norwich when he came off the bench, I would have him in there because he seems to love playing against Arsenal. He has a pretty decent record, if I'm not mistaken, against Arsenal. So I'd go with him in there. And obviously you do have players like Mahrez off the bench. So, you know, I think we should be fairly comfortable with beating Arsenal. But Dara, thoughts on the front three?
Front three, I mean, you can kind of go anywhere about it. I'd love to see Delap. I'd love to see another, a different striker maybe that we could end up having. You never know, but it's a very fluid front three. You know, Jesus could drop in, Torres could drop out. position wise. I mean, it's very fluid. I do think it's going to be how we go about it. But like you said, Sterling coming in off a good record. I mean, it took him months to score a goal 2 years ago, and he ended up scoring against Arsenal. I'm pretty sure he got two that game, but he was just electric. And I do think that with him playing against a slower defence, he'll just get in behind constantly, and it'll just be, I think it'll be child's play for him. And I think Torres as well, he'll end up mopping up, he'll get a goal, maybe even two. I just think that shaky defensively, they're not going to be able to hold out front through with that much pace and that much drive just going at them. But you never know. Stranger things have happened in football. But I am very, very confident going into it. And you know what? Me and Hugh are going to be at it. It's going to be. I can really feel it's going to be electric. I think we'll smash through them. But on that note, going to get into some score predictions. Joe, go ahead.
I don't think we'll completely wipe the floor with them in terms of the score. I think it'll be pretty convincing on the day. Just seeing as what I've seen from both teams so far, I think a fairly comfortable 2-0 where we don't really get troubled that much and we just stick a couple away because, again, their defence isn't looking the best at the moment.
Yeah, I understand. I know what you mean. I'm going to say 3-0. I'm going to say 3-0 City, but I'm going to put down the basis of the fact that we could score about 10. Like, it'll be a 3-0, but I think Arsenal will be lucky to make it out with a 3-0. That kind of way. We'll end up having about 25 shots on target, and the two will go in with the own goals. But that's our score predictions. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Right, so they were our thoughts in the build-up to the City and Arsenal game this weekend. What do you think? Let us know down below. We're trying to hit 400 subscribers as soon as possible. So whatever you can do, like, comment, share it around, all that good stuff. Help us get to our goal. Thanks very much, nice, and we'll see you for the review.